So there we have it. New address. New address. Oh. Yeah. So I should turn off this sound. Maybe. Do you hear me? Is there anyone? Let's wait to get someone in this one. Can you hear me? So I'm waiting for someone to say that it's working, and then I will start the stream. Maybe I should prepare for the flight. Should prepare for the flight in the meantime. Let's see, and yeah, should be heard. Okay, let's go. Let's do some. So you can see I've modified the sound, but I don't like the system of how it is. How it is. Let's see, and let's turn it to off. So there are some things that I must turn off, that nonsense. So like that. So now we are pretty close to ready. So I will program the FMS. Do we have anyone with us in the chat? Climb the sun flaps, yes. Maybe I should. I'm live streaming. Maybe I should turn off that messenger. Live streaming. Exit. Let's turn off some things. Quit Discord. And let's quit some things. Signal. And yeah, don't need Spotify the thing. And afterburner, yes, of course. Fan control. Yeah. So let's see. Get some viewers, or some viewer, at least one, before I start showing what we have done with the flight model. should have another picture than my own face 10 years ago. 15 years ago, maybe. I've become older since then. So anyway, I will start to load up the aircraft. I have, yeah, let's set 5. Let's try this. Yeah, 20. We should say 10 and see what that gives us. 10, it's better, and 30. Maybe 40. 40. Gross weights or fuel weight. 5,100. That's a quite good function with ProSim, actually, to have the ability to set the exact fuel. So I want 60 tons with 4 kilograms of fuel weight. So 0 fuel weight. Let's set 5,000 for, yeah. And let's set this to 40. That is the wrong 38. And let's set this to 40. Let's set this to 12. I'm trying to get to 60 tons and about 20. So let's set 13 then. Yeah. And 37. 37. And 14. Will that affect my? Yeah. There we have something close to what I had in level D. So we will add this. Add. And I will save this to 60 in gross weight. Yes, I want to overwrite it. Yeah. So I have something to. I will freeze the fuel until we start rolling. So I will look in the stream and see if we have anyone. I will look in the stream. So let's see. So there is 3 persons looking at the stream right now. Maybe I should turn off myself. So should have 2 then. And still 3 persons, doesn't it? So wave. So say something to me, so I know there is anyone looking at it. It shows me that it's 4 persons. 4 persons is looking at stream. But wave or send a hi or whatever, so I know you can hear me and so on. Anyway, we will have gross weight of 60.1. 60.1. And we will have fuel 5.0. 5. Uh, 5. No, of course I can't change that. What? I must turn off Facebook. Not hear those. Hello, Peter. And let's see, cost index is correct. Cruise altitude will be my standard 112,000 feet. And I'm flying with no winds and no real weather, so ISODEV is 0. Okay, do you hear me? Peter? I will just tell my friend that I'm streaming. So, please join. Where did my stream go? I'm using my phone to have it. Does everyone who is looking at the stream hear me? I'm still waiting for, according to this, my microphone is on. Yes, I have no mic though, just listening. Yeah, you can't talk to me when I'm streaming. Okay, let's go. Then we have at least 2 persons that are looking. We have to, that's okay. It's not a big stream. I'm just wanting to show you what we have done with the flight model. So I've loaded up my standard flight and standing at my standard gate and so on and so on. N1 16 degrees, derate to 24, 95. That is a little strange. Let's set 116, 24. Should be around 94, I think. Anyway, if you compare to level D, that is. Anyway, takeoff, flaps 5. We will look at the center of gravity, and we have about 20. So we will set 20, 5.63 in trim, and I will change this to 5.63, 5.63. There was some 5.63. Yeah. And departure, my standard departure, 3M departure arrival. This is the only thing I will fly until the flight model is somewhat correct. And when that is, and my cockpit starts to come along, I will fly other routes too. So, is the volume from Pusim Sounds too high? It's too high. Anyway, I will start push. Request, prepare for pushback and departure. And we take GSX choice. And we will already now start with one engine. So we have pressure, and I will start an engine. Hi, Matthias. There's only 2 persons looking, but that is enough. Peter and Matthias. But that is enough for me. I can't hear anything from them. So, are they preparing anything? Yeah, they are starting to interrupt pushback. No customize airport position. Yeah, there we have one engine running. I should probably put on position lights and collision lights. And APU. Ground power off. Yeah, ground power off. Yeah, it works. Facing south, I think. Facing south. And I can't hear the sound from GSX, but that is, yeah. What are they doing? So I should probably maybe I should release the parking brakes. Yeah, much better. So the gears are planted in the ground. Don't know why really, but so we should probably not start the second engine, but I will. So we have set up most of the things for approach, but I will set this to 12,000. And the thing is that I can't hear them. So is there something that's doing that I can't hear the sound from G6? And I will start against the traffic. I think they are starting at runway 21. But this is just a test, so I don't care. And you will hear all kinds of warnings and all kinds of things. But this is the route I know, so that's the route it will be. So probably I should set the parking brake. So parking brake set. And waiting your confirmation. That is also a strange thing. Confirm good engine start. So I will start next engine. And also I'm controlling my engines with only buttons, so that's not the best thing you can do. So and yeah, this is also not the best thing. An Airbus, British Airways. Does what? Who do you think he is? Okay, we have good engine start, and I will turn on taxi lights and yaw damper on. Lead air. Recirculation fans. Packs are on. So there we have it. Let's go. Brakes released. And 1, 2, 3. So if I should say anything about the flight model then, we have done, I shouldn't say we, but I've just given my input from the level D sim, how the plane should fly from the level D sim. I've also made one big change myself, and this big change makes the trim not be correct, and we are working on that, and also to get the pitching behavior when you change flaps to be more correct. But otherwise the other part of the flight is way more correct. So how the pitch behavior behaves, how much elevator is needed in turns, and he have basically used the real numbers, the real Boeing 737 numbers that we have found on the internet. Most of the numbers he have found himself, but some of the numbers have come from my captain friends. So they have given some very valuable values for everything. So he have matched those numbers with the flight model, and the first version flew awful, and the second version flew better, and the third version started to fly okay, and this is the fourth version, and now it's really starting to change. So if I hadn't changed that number, and that has to do with the pitch behavior, I can tell you more about that number, what is changed. If I hadn't changed that number, it would be better in turns, less elevator in turns, less, but it gets too twitchy. It basically gets too twitchy and too unstable to fly. And when I changed his number to, which is the real calculated value, to just 1 on this scalar, the plane flew much better, but trim is not correct. So bear in mind that trim is not correct, and we will look more into trim and pitch behavior when it comes to flaps. But it's CFD modeled, and it flies really good. So yeah, strobes on, logo on, wheel well off, and yeah, I will turn them on now. So I'm taxing fast, as you can see, but that doesn't matter. We will take off after the British Airways. And of course I'm running rudder fix. It's strange that ProSim haven't implemented something like that yet, but okay, I guess so. So the first thing you should look at is how much, you can see on the elevator, how much elevator I'm using in the takeoff and how much aileron I'm using in the turn and when setting it to neutral. So it's very stable in the turn, extremely stable in the turn. And I have recently learned about an effect that is called neutral static longitudinal stability. There is positive static longitude stability, and there is neutral and negative. So positive, neutral, and negative. And at this moment, I believe very strongly that the plane should have stronger neutral static stability, but it doesn't at the moment. So hopefully he's going to tweak that so the center of gravity moves in some way so we get better neutral static stability. And this neutral static stability, it will help with both how it flies at takeoff, in the turns, and at level flight. So for now, for example, it is not bouncing back, but it is going back. So if you pitch up to 18 degrees, it goes back to like 15, 10, 15. And that it should not do with the amount of engine thrust we are using. So he will hopefully tune the aircraft to match my scaling better. And yeah. So, are you guys ready for takeoff? So, look at my elevator when I do the rotation. So, stabilized, toga pushed, forward with the controls. Neutral.
V1. Rotate. V2.
This was not good, I must say, but this will probably change. So I'm hand flying. I will hand fly all the way to 10,000 feet and show you. So now it's very stable. The aircraft is very stable. And speed check, flaps 2. So disregard the strange trim values. And look at so basically I don't touch the controls now. It flies very stable in the turn and no yawing effect either. So very stable in the turn. And it will pitch down. Speed check, flaps up. So very realistic climb rate with these weights. And now I've let go of the controls and I'm using very small inputs, but I can make large inputs, but it flies very smooth. Yes, I'm using FSLTL traffic. I think it's called, yeah. So, and I will trim forward. This speed trim should make for me, but it haven't. It does not seem to work in ProSim. So I would really request speed trim. But look at the stability. I'm not touching the controls. And if I now turn on the autopilot, we'll do some small trim changes. And will match very good the top of climb and so on. So this means that ProSim basically are calculating correct top of climb because we have used the right real values. So trimming forward to accelerate the aircraft, and you see how stable it is. If we go to the debug menu and show aircraft data and show pitch and elevator deflection, you can see how nice movements the elevator is doing. So we can also look at what settings I used to do this. So in tuning tab, I used 2.6 in idle thrust angle, and I would like to use 2.65, but I don't think I can use that. No, it gets to 2.7. So that's one thing, and I'm using very small value elevator tuning. So and I don't want to use that small value, but it's make it very stable. So this is the point where top of descent is placed now, and that is very close to where level D calculated it. So, oh no, 3,000 feet, Mr. Approach altitude. And I will set auto brake to 2 and change it back to dumbest, that I can't lock this. Zoom level is very bad, I think. So I've talked about this with ProSim for a long time, that the autopilot is a little too aggressive, and we will see that when we arrive to the top of descent that it will pitch down quite rapidly. But the plane behaves good, so it doesn't pitch too much, but you will see how the pitch is behaving when we get to the top of descent. So there you see the pitch axis and the pitch behavior of the aircraft. This probably need to be tuned also, but okay. So why now the speed has started to start to decrease, and it will pitch up a little. But it flies very stable, and if I disconnect the autopilot, it will, at this mode it will pitch up a little, but and probably here we will have 240 knots, so it will have 248 knots where it should have 240. In the level D sim it had exactly 240 knots or 243 knots at this point, and this point was placed more in the center. Also you can see that the plane is trimming a lot in the turn here, and that is probably because we haven't tuned the neutral longitudinal stability. When he will tune the neutral longitudinal stability, it will not trim this much in turns. And with the previous number that we have instead of 1, it didn't trim this much in the turn. And if I disconnect autopilot, it flies very good. I can hand fly it all the way down. Maybe I should hand fly it all the way down just to show you how easy it is to fly now. So you can see that I'm with this speed, slowly the speed is creeping down. So it's quite close to the slipperiness, how slippery it should be. And I'm basically not touching the controls. It flies very good. And just a tiny bit of back pressure in the turn. And this will also probably be better when we tune the neutral static stability. Neutral longitudinal static stability. So I'm hand flying now, and it's fairly easy. And you see that the trim is not correct yet, but with the previous value it was way more correct, but the pitch didn't feel right. So I changed it so it felt good, and probably when he do the change, it will become much better. Much better, not much. My English. Anyway, so at 1,350 feet at a minute, the speed doesn't move much. And that is exactly how slippery it should be with this weight. And yeah, it almost doesn't have to touch the controls. And now so now I've let go of the controls, and 10, 30, 10, 30. So, and just as I did in the level D sim, I will put autopilot approach mode on when localizers started moving to center. It basically, Peter, it's basically holding the turn by itself. I doesn't have to hold much, a little back pressure, but with the value before that the aerodynamics guy used, it was even better in turns. It hold even better in turns. Extremely small amount of elevator input. And there you can see the speed is decreasing. And I will trim the plane as the speed decreases. And flaps 1, speed check. And still a little too much pitching moment when putting out flaps, but it's very tiny. Speed check, flaps 2. And we will lower to speed check, flaps 5. What happened with the localizer approach mode? Yeah, I forgot to turn it on, but there's no problem. Too much speed. So now, sorry for that. Sorry for that. So flaps 15 is pitching a lot. So, but he will probably fix that. So what should we have? 147. 147. So you can look at the trim value is way too low, but the plane flies good. So maybe that has to do with the pitching behavior with the flaps, and he's still working on that. But as you can see, when I am trimmed, the plane is very easy to fly, making very small adjustments to keep the plane in this place. And you will also notice when we get closer to the runway, when we get closer to the runway and I'm doing the flare, you will see how much input I will have in the flare, and that is basically how I remembered it in the level D sim. About 50% input in the flare at least. I have to concentrate a little now. Can't talk too much. So, and I will turn off that. And remember, I'm controlling the throttle with buttons on the yoke now, so I have no real throttle to control this with. So that's a little bad. But that's how it is.
500. 400. 300.
And there goes the disregard this.
200. 100. 50. 40. 30. 20. 10.
Yeah. You saw this. That is way better than what we have. Yeah, as I've been saying, the trim, it's me that trimming, but the reason for the unrealistic trim is because I've reduced the elevator effectiveness by 3 times. So we have to adjust that, but to get the plane to behave better in flare and so on, I had to change the elevator behavior. Otherwise it was way too sensitive, way too twitchy, if you will. Yeah, that was firm, I know. I should have. Maybe is it possible to see how the landing was? Position map, statistics, approach statistic. Oh, I should have turned it on. But anyway, it wasn't my best landing, but the plane is starting to behave as it should, and that was what I wanted to show you guys. Yes, CFD is on in this flight model, and it's working. That's the important thing. And it feels much nicer to fly. I will park at stand 17 again, as I always do. And stop. And parking brakes on, and it's hard with so there we have it. I will look what you guys have written. Ground call. So there we have it. And let's see. Cool, thanks. Yeah. Really getting somewhere. It was basically a catastrophe from the first version. And then version 2 got better, version 3 got better, but flaps was absolutely unusable in version 3. And then he fixed, I think, drag and lift on the flaps. But it's still pitch is still left to do with the flaps, how much pitch momentum it should have in flaps. And I have a video. I've seen a video where they talk about neutral pitch stability. Pitch neutral pitch stability and video. It's a video that is very good to explain what it is. Neutral pitch stability. Neutral pitch stability. Neutral long. There we will see. I will see if we can get this on the stream, and I can show you what it really means. Where is it? I found a very good video that really explains it very good, that makes it possible for anyone to understand this stability. But there's many different forms of stability: aerodynamic and dynamic and static, and also let's see, it should be somewhere here. Longitudinal static stability, static trim. No, it's not that. Then we have this. I will see if I can show you what I mean. And this effect has to do with among center of gravity. So, for example, must have that. Didn't I send it to you, Matthias? Let's see what the video's name was. Yeah, there it is. Aerodynamic stability. Aerodynamic stability. And I can only aerodynamic general definition. General. There we have it. So I will show this. Yeah, no sound. I will show this and talk about it a little. And I didn't know. I was thinking about totally different things when. My God! Wait, where is my stream? So I can talk about it. Yeah, there we have my stream. Yeah, if you always need speed brake at descent, you need to change this number in ProSim. Tuning, idle descent angle, idle thrust glide angle, and it should be around 2.7, 2.6, I think. The flare works immensely better. It's a total different story. It's another world. And yeah, I will show you this is the stability general definition: static stability, inertial tendency, static stability. So
tendency of the airplane or aircraft when the aircraft is
I will talk myself anyway. So positive static stability, and this goes for all the axes. So both in the longitudinal and in the roll and in the yaw, there is different behavior in static stability. So in positive static stability, it is like if you have a bowl and you put ball in this bowl, and it wants to go to the center. And when we are talking roll, it's dihedral effect is helping with that it wants to go to the center. But my experiences from the level D simulator is that it's very close to neutral static stability. That means you don't need, you can see this is neutral static stability. And it's very close to neutral static stability. It's very slowly going back to level flight if you put it in a bank. Thanks, Peter. It's very slowly going back to the yeah. Maybe I should show it, just show it how show it in with the flight model. But it has okay. Have a nice day, Peter. Anyway, static stability anyway should be closer to neutral in all axes. You basically have to point the aircraft in one direction and then it will go to this direction. So if I, for example, would start engines and just go up in the air, let's go to daytime to show, and let's go to engine start. So we have pressure, yes. And I will just go up in there just to show you. Yes, it is. And also in pitch. But pitch isn't perfect yet. It should be closer to neutral static stability in pitch, and that he haven't fixed yet. So there we have engine number 1. Oh, not yet. Number 2. And I will fly with 240 knots. Just go up in the air, fly with 240 knots without flaps, just to show you some trim and some stability. And I will try to hand trim the aircraft also. Of course, I will have yaw damper on. So I can set this up to 240. And 5,000 feet, I think, is a good number. And turn all these things on. Let's see. Auto, hydraulics on, fuel pumps on, and there we have, yeah, skip the lights. The standby switch should change after landing. The standby switches. As far as I know, they don't. The standby switches? What standby switches are you talking about? Standby switches. I don't know really what you mean, but okay. Let's go to position the aircraft 240 knots and pitch 5 and custom location altitude 5,000. Set current location And we should set freeze and that and altitude and 256, set that so it stabilizes at 256 and that and on pause and gear up. So also you will see how the pitch behaves now. Standby rudder as an example. Left side upper overhead. Yeah. It will trim to an unrealistic value. It should be plus minus 6, roughly. Plus minus 6 or the whole envelope of the flight. Depending on how you have standby rudder. I see. Interesting. Anyway. No, how the aircraft flies is more important than that you can make flight. So now we can see that we are not stable. And I will go to 5,000 feet and you can see the pitch slowly, nicely moving upwards. There was not much pitching of the so I will have my 737 captain friends to test the flight model when we have gotten closer, and because now it's starting to be things that I can't test basically. But okay, so now we have quite stable flight. And you can see so this is to show the pitch behavior in the turn. So I will disengage the autopilot. You can see it's pitching up a little now. So I will have to trim the plane a little, but I will do that. So when we have it stable, I will do a turn. So basically now it's stable. No, a little more. So now it's stable. No input is made. And I will do a 30-degree bank. And you will see how little input I need. And when we change the neutral static stability, neutral longitudinal static stability, it will be even better. You will not need much elevator input at all. And you can see I'm basically neutral with the ailerons. And yeah, you can see how stable it is in the turn. Doesn't need any aileron at all. No yawing, not much yawing at all. So I can even if I turn off the yaw damper, it doesn't yaw much. And that is exactly how it should be. Oh. I accidentally, and I will now do some left and right turns. So I just do this and you can see the amount the plane is yawing. It isn't much. And if I turn on yaw damper again, and this is exactly how I remember it was in the level D simulator. climb back up to I will climb back up to 5,000 feet, and you can see the pitch also. Nice pitch. And now if I do this, it is the yaw damper is a little bit too slow, I think. So it is yawing a little anyway. But anyway, the flight model is immensely better.
Bank angle, bank angle.
And even if I have quite steep bank angle,
Bank angle.
I will be able to keep the aircraft in a quite close with not much elevator input. And this will be even better. Yes, I will. And it will trim the plane. So it will trim the plane in a turn. But this will be better. This trimming behavior will be removed, and I can show you. Oh, I can't show you how it should behave at the moment, because we haven't fixed neutral static stability. He have to move center of gravity back a little, and that will probably change both trim and neutral static stability. Set to trim or pitch. Trim, pitch, of course pitch. So, of course pitch. So, 240 knots, 64% N1, very stable in the turn. It has too much trim, but and it will trim quite a lot forward when it goes out from this turn. But as I've been saying, this will also be fixed with, this will probably also be fixed with neutral static stability, neutral longitudinal static stability. And for that, he needs to move the center of gravity a little. And it's probably just a tiny bit. But you can see and you can also see the trim value is not really correct in this position. But we are getting there with his, and why I changed this elevator to 1 instead of 4, roughly 4, is because I wanted this to be good. I wanted this to behave as it should. And it does now. It should not be too fast, this pitching. And you can see that I'm trimmed for this pitch, and if I move it up to 10, it bounces a little back. So it has quite good. That's quite good static stability, and that is what I mean with longitudinal stat stability. Basically, you should not need to. If you pitch up, it should stay there. It's now bouncing a little too much. And now the engines are pushing also. Yeah. Unfortunately, Matthias, I have to use this very low tuning value of 10 on elevated tuning. If I use a higher value, I can show you. If I use, for example, 100 just to show you, and put this in, you can see these elevated pitching behavior, and it doesn't get stabilized. And I've tried many different values. Is the static stability also do? Yeah, no, not really. I can turn. I can basically turn that on. Oh, so if I change it back to. If I change it back to, let's see, to 10 that I had it on, so we have a nice good tuning of elevator. You can see it immediately goes quite straight. Anyway, I will show you what happens with it. No, I can't show you that. I can't turn that off. It's set in the flight model. It's set in the flight model. So to be always on. So, but so I've set it. He have set it to always be on, default on in the flight model, but it has very little to do with the static stability. And 54% N1. You also saw the flight where, so if I go to 147 and put out flaps, put out gear, I will just put out flaps. So like 147 and 0 and vertical speed to 750, which is about the normal approach. So we will see how much the throttle is pushing now. The trim value is way off, but yeah, get the point. So 157. I will have minus 800 maybe. So the engine value should be somewhere around 55% N1 to do a normal approach. So if I, for example, go to a normal approach, aircraft position, ILS, 8 mile final, 1, 2, 3, 4, pause. Oh, sorry for that. I'm getting deaf here. 147. 147 and pause. So now the engines are hysteric, but you can see the smoothness when it comes down. So hello 737 SE. Matthias, I don't understand your last question. Okay, and what is it for basically? What is it for basically? What is what for basically? CFD, computed fluid dynamics. That's to make it more realistic in aerodynamics, deep stalls, and so on. But it makes the whole aircraft feels more correct. It doesn't change any other things, but you can see about 55% N1. You can see the pitch is about 0 with 147 knots. So this is quite stable. Let's see. Should we test an auto land just to see how it behaves? We can do that. I can do that. And we can also look at the pitch behavior. I noticed in the level D simulator that
1,000.
when my pilot friend told me is that you should flare at 20 feet. But the Autoland basically flared at 50 feet. It started at least flaring a little at 50 feet. So that was a little interesting note, I think. I think there's something wrong with the glide slope here, so I think it will freak out. But in that case, I will just disengage the autopilot and flare
500.
myself.
400.
So anyway, very stable. Now it's going down, yeah,
300.
and it's pitching down, pitching up.
200. 100. 50. 40.
Too low. Terrain.
10.
Yeah, no. And I can tell you why this happened. This is not okay. I can tell you why this is happening. And that is if I tune this to, for example, 80, it will have more force when it's doing this. So let's go.
Too low. Terrain.
$1,000.
And you can see how big movement this does. So it's basically maxing out the elevator now. I don't know. No, this isn't okay. This is not correct. I have to... I will do this and... Can I trim? Oh, I can't trim. Okay. I will trim. Ah, now it's freaked out. Let's go back. 1, 2, 3. Now something has happened with the ProSim at the moment, so I don't think we will be able to do anything. Is this what we call
1,000.
say something about the CFD? Yeah, CFD means computed fluid dynamics, and it basically make the aircraft fly more better with aerodynamics. So
500.
should redo that.
400.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So no. Yeah. So you can see how the elevator is moving now with 80. And if I had more ability to tune, it would be better. But this make it at least the aircraft more possible to auto land. It makes it faster. But I want to dampen it. I want it to be fast, but dampened. So I need more values in the
500.
CFD simulation.
400.
So let's see if it plants the aircraft too hard in the runway.
200.
Should start flaring at 50.
100. 50. 40.
Too low. Terrain.
20.
No. Still not correct. No correct auto land. Yeah. So. But I will show you landing, one more landing just for. Oh, this is what happened if you are too fast with changing from pause. And you see how ineffective the elevator was there at those low speeds. And that is exactly how it should be. So I
1,000.
came in too high. Coming in too high.
Sink rate.
But I will do my best to
Sink rate.
fix this.
500.
Sink rate.
400. 300. 200.
Glide slope.
And look at my elevator now.
40.
Too low. Terrain.
30. 20. 10.
A little too ineffective. A little too ineffective at this point. Maybe the speed was not correct.
Too low. Terrain.
So let's see if we can do it one more time. Autopilot, and try to follow the flight director a little better this time.
1,000.
So 30 stabilized. So that is quite stable. And now I will turn off that.
500. 400.
50, about 54% N1.
300.
So let's see if I nail this better.
200. 100. 50. 40.
Too low. Terrain.
30. 20. 10.
Not perfect. Not perfect. What happened here? What happened here? That was strange. Something have happened. Speed. Yeah, not perfect. Anyways. Yeah, a little too early flare. You should flare at 20 feet. I will do a thing. Elevator. I will change this to 2.5 and resync the aircraft. So we are waiting for the, and I will do another thing, and we will not probably have this strange. So according to the aerodynamics guy, it should be 4.12 according to his calculations. The thing is that makes the pitch too sensitive. So we need to do something about the pitch. So now I've changed a very important value for the whole behavior of the aircraft. And that means I will probably not be able to use this tuning, elevator tuning. And that I have to change also when the simulator starts to respond again. And I've just called this my FS Project 1, so it's just to resync the aircraft. And I also need to resync the weights. So when I update the aircraft, so if I go to aircraft editor and no. If I go to aircraft editor and resync the aircraft, I must change the weights. So I have the correct weights. And now I will be able to have it better. So we have to take the long approach this time because we need to tune the ORPAD a little. But this will change the whole behavior of pitch. Pause. And I have to trim it quite a lot. And also I need some speed. And now you will see that elevator is much closer with this value, but the plane is a little too sensitive. So I need a frequency. Probably I have to do this again, but let's put the frequency in, and now you see this. You can see there's a lot less. So at least we will go to this and change this to 30. So now you can see that now you can see that the trim is much closer to what it should be. Sorry for that. So I will disengage the autopilot and try a new flare. And you will see my input here, and
1,000.
it's a little more sensitive, but and now my throttle doesn't work. No, yeah. It's always something that doesn't work. 54. I'm trying to hit the 54. Yeah, no. Sorry for this, but I will fix it.
500.
I will fix it. I will fix it.
400.
So now you can see my
300.
elevator. It is more sensitive, but
200.
doesn't matter.
100. 50. 40.
Too low. Terrain.
30. 20. 10.
So I needed much less elevator in this state, but anyway. And I will show you with the aerodynamics guys value on elevator lift coefficient what it will be now. And I have to load a plane, 60 ton gross weight, and you will see again how the plane, and I probably have to tune the autopilot a little again, but let's go. Now the plane should behave as he says it should behave according to the aerodynamics calculations, but I believe that it is too sensitive with this setting, way too sensitive. But at least I did some wrong things. So let's 110, 30, 110, 30. And let's put, so, and 110, 30. So they were quite stable. So quite stable, and you can see the trim value is now much more realistic. 6.23 in this value. So this is according to the aerodynamics guys' calculations how effective the elevator should be. But if I disengage and do this, it's way too sensitive, I think. But okay. And two small movements to make the aircraft behave. Correct. But look at we will look at the flare now with this number.
1,000.
So it should go up to 155. So I will turn this off. And I will increase it a bit. I don't know if that value changes anything else, but
500.
so
400.
and you can see the speed is creeping down also
300.
because I don't have 55% N1.
200. 100.
And this is not correct.
Too low. Terrain.
30, 20, 10.
And I flared too early, but okay. So this is too little, I think, in the elevator effectiveness. This is way too little in the... Should be about 50% N1. Or 50% in pitch. So... something need to be tuned. But anyway, so there we have it, guys. I hope you liked the stream, and yeah, basically every value in the flight model is changed. So, and it's now running with CFD. It's running good with CFD. Thanks for watching, and have